this up. Okay, so yesterday we had defined an Ethica study, and we had done so through the Ethica dashboard. And for those who are interested, I invite you to go back with me to reacquaint ourselves with this. But now that a day has passed since we created it, I'd like to go check out the data. Yesterday we were entrapped in this very room, and now having, and that prevented GPS signals from reaching us. Now, having been here for a day, people have moved around at night, and I'm going to view all participants. Today is the 13th. I will view it from starting on the 12th and going to the 13th here. And we're going to view a heat map associated with the participants for this study. This heat map will be designed to show us kind of where people have spent the time within the study. Okay, now mumble. Why have I not seen that? Okay, that is fascinating. Forgive me for just a second. I've seen this before where it just does not. First of all, let's see the temporal map of people's meanderings. Okay, we applied to one participant at a time. I'm going to do it for, say, this participant here. And we'll see, okay, this participant has spent mostly the time here at the hotel. They've moved around some. I'll look at this participant here. And we can only do one at a time. So this participant has moved around more broadly around the city. You can see that they walked through downtown, went up to 25th Street East, and probably crossed this University Bridge in a fairly rapid way. Who knows, via bus transit, perhaps, to this area of the university. And then they went down to what looks like graduate apartments there. Now, I would like to see the heat map, but it looks like this function. There we go. I couldn't do it for all participants, but for this participant, it gives an idea of where they spent their time. And oh my gosh, once again, I should have set the resolution of this. Let me see if that can be brought up here. So you could see they spent this time here down around this hotel, went up, and then they spent significant time in these particular areas. If we were to go look at another participant, let's say this one, we might see, okay, no data is found. So that person is probably not sharing their GPS, or they may have closed the app. I think this is the one we already watched, and we can go down here to, let's suppose, another one here. This person has been hotel bound, right? So here we're tracing people's movements around. We can do so either at a sort of summary level, although it seems somewhat finicky as to doing it with many people at a time. Alternatively, we can do it at the level of a trajectory for particular people, which shows the specifics of their meandering over time, however short or long it is. This temporal fashion gives a sense of sort of over time, where have they moved, whereas the heat map shows the balance of their time, where has that been spent. I'll show you one other thing, which came out of this study. This is just by way of Kibana. What I'm going to do here is to go into Kibana and show you a little bit about responses. So I'm going to go to visualize here. we're going to go to our workspace, make sure I'm in the right workspace. I do work with a number of different studies. We are working with study 515 as indicated from the design panel. I've just mapped that, and now I'm going to go to visualize the elements of that study. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to first say discover. I want to look for survey responses within the past one day here. The last, last 12 hours, 24 hours. Here we go. Here's some survey responses. I want to check for this study what the survey ID is. So I can go down here and I should be able to look. Here's the study ID. There should be a survey. There we are. Thank you. Okay, so we see that there's two survey IDs. I want to find one where people are responding to an indication of their risk behaviors. So here's a multiple choice one, for example, where they're being asked, have you been observing any of these behaviors? This is question ID 2 on study 2863. Okay. Alternatively, this one is asking, for example, about different responses 2858 to the question, please indicate which of the personal protective measures you are following. So for 2858, I am going to go take a look for that at how people answered. So I'm going to go to visualize here. I'm going to go add in a tag cloud, okay? This tag cloud is going to do so from survey responses. And specifically for the tags, I want to look at terms associated with the answer content. And this will be associated with survey 2858 is 2858, okay? And you can see, okay, we have some responses, but you'll notice that this is somewhat odd because it's mixing yes and no with other responses. I'm going to add a filter for the question ID specifically, or actually the question ID, yes, which indicates which question were they answering, because I want to distinguish things which were answering a yes/no question from another one. I believe we're dealing with question 2 here. That's the yes/no, so I must have been wrong about that. I believe it's question 1 here, and I believe we want to do it here. So with question 1, this is a summary of people's answers to this particular question.
Is that showing up?
Sorry? Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's mumble. There, we brought it a little bit more into this. So if we had more responses, it would be showing them with larger counts, larger variations in their count. Maybe we'll go to, for example, survey 2863, and we'll look at, we'll get rid of this and see if, okay, that also, excuse me, survey ID 2863 here. Okay, survey ID is 2863. Okay. So quite a few people said avoiding contact with vegetation. Comparatively few reported wearing long sleeves. Apparently not because of the weather. So here we're summarizing across the survey ID answers to questions and how people answered things within the context of a word cloud. Okay. Alternatively, we could go to visualize here, add in, for example, a pie chart from the same survey ID. We could split slices by terms here and do so according to answer content, see how many answered each way, And what we'll see is, oh man, this is horrible. It's still not enough, okay. Here we go. So avoiding contact with vegetation, that's this one here. We had 2 that indicated that. We had 1 that indicate using insect repellent. Okay, I need to link it down to a particular answer because no is mixed in. So I'm going to add a filter associated with not just the survey ID here, but the survey ID, but also the question associated with it. So this is for the study ID 2863. Alternatively, I could do it for survey ID 2858, I believe it was. There we go. And second of all, I could do so according to the question ID here. I believe we're dealing with question ID 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2. So is, and I'll try 1 first of all. There we go. Bingo. Okay. So once again, we can get a reading of how people answered the question in different ways in terms of seeking to avoid contact with vegetation, using insect repellent, wearing long pants, and wearing long sleeves. It will highlight the appropriate sections of this. So we're seeing here Kibana being used to summarize responses to surveys. We're also seeing how it can be used to map out, how Ethica's built-in reporting measures can be used to map out where people are spending time and the trajectories of their movement around a given area. A little bit more on Ethica and Kibana. We'll come back and see more tomorrow. Alex is preparing some work with the beacon, and we'll probably have a presentation on that sometime soon. And I'll do a little bit more presentations introducing some additional features. Okay? Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow in the Picasso room downstairs for another day filled with some additional particle filtering discussions, intuitions, coverage, and then going on and introducing a more powerful technique yet, known as particle MCMC. Okay? So see you tomorrow. Thanks very much.